The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is about to get underway, and we have a championship fight on our hands here this afternoon. Three drivers in contention for the championship: Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris. We have 5.281 kilometers around this circuit, 58 laps, 10.2 meters in elevation, 341 kilometers down that back straight, 125.6. 125.6 is the lap record around here today. Hards, mediums, and soft compound tyres are the tyres to be choosing here this weekend. We are expecting the hards to be the tyre to be on, along with that medium tyre as well. The final race of the year is about to get underway. Who will be world champion at the end of 58 laps? We're about to get underway. Let's take a look at the starting grid. This is round 24. We are racing at Abu Dhabi. Both Alpines line up P19 and P20 three consecutive times in a row. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome in as well. Three consecutive times in a row that they have finished on the back row. Alex Albon and Nico Hulkenberg lines up P18 and P17. Lance Stroll and Lewis Hamilton lines up P16 and P15. Along with Liam Lawson and Kimi Antonelli, P14 and P13. Liam Lawson once more not getting inside Q3, neither with Kimi Antonelli. Ollie Behrman just scraping out of Q3, and Carlos Sainz as well. Isaac Hadjar and Yuki Tsunoda also just scraping in. Nearly got a penalty for having all four wheels over that white line at the exit of turn 1. Gabriel Bortoleto and Esteban Ocon, P8 and P7 on the grid. Really good drive from Gabriel Bortoleto. Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc lines up P5 and P6 on this grid. In P4, it is George Russell, Oscar Piastri, who's in this championship hunt. He'll be wanting to win the championship, and it's the run to turn 1 that we're all worried about. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. They sit 1 and 2 in the championship and 1 and 2 on the grid. We're not too far away from race start. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your predictions. Who will be leading into turn number 1? Will it be Max Verstappen or will it be Lando Norris? The crowds have flocked in. The Formula One finale is about to get underway, and we've got a fight and a half on our hands. 58 laps. There is, we're guessing, going to be, if you play it a risky strategy, you'll be doing a 1-stop. If you play it safe, you'll be doing a 2-stop. 2-stop will probably be a medium soft. If you want to do a 1-stop, it will be a medium hard. So the mediums will be the tyre to be on this weekend. The soft tyre will not be the tyre. And that, if you were to be on a soft tyre, it would be in the last 4 laps. The softs, I mean, out of practice, we saw they could probably do about 25 laps. Lando Norris will be the 2025 F1 Drivers' Champion if he finishes on the podium. That's all Lando Norris has to do. All Max Verstappen has to do is finish on the podium. All Oscar Piastri has to do is finish first. Lando has to finish 6th, and Max has to finish 4th. The ultimate showdown is about to get underway. We have not seen a 3-way fight for the championship since 2021 here in the FIA Formula One World Championship. There is the trophy that the drivers will be winning. The trophy features 2 wings that symbolize the UAE's iconic Saka Falcon in flight. So we're about to see what these drivers can do. 58 laps, and the 2 championship contenders sit on the front row of the grid. It is Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. In behind, Oscar Piastri and George Russell. Then Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso. Gabriel Bortoleto, P7, along with Lewis Hamilton. Now, the one person that really got our eyes flickering in qualifying was Lewis Hamilton. He lines up P16 on this grid. He missed out in Q2. He missed out on Q2. Now, let's take a look at what tyres people are starting on here. Max Verstappen starting on the medium tyre. Here, there is a possibility for that 1-stop. There's a possibility that the hards can go 42 laps. The softs can go 16 laps. So, the 1-stop, medium hard, 23 laps on the mediums, 35 laps on the hards. The hards, if you were to do another 1-stop, it would be 43 laps on the hards and 16 laps on that soft compound tyre. So it shows that the softs cannot go very far, of course, because that tyre is much softer. Traction is much easier, meaning the rears burn out a lot. And just in general, the softs are not a good tyre around this circuit. There is Lando Norris. He leads the championship at the moment by 12 points. All he has to do is finish on the podium and he wins the championship. All Oscar Piastri has to do is win the race and for, well, both of them to finish off the podium and he wins the championship for young Oscar Piastri. His second season in Formula 1 and he's about to win a championship. He's not as experienced as the two in front of him are, Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. The fans have travelled from 105 different countries for the 2025 season finale for the FIA Formula 1 World Championship, but we're about to get racing. The cars out in their formation lap, getting tyre temp into the tyres. That will be important on the run down to turn number 1. Here, ladies and gentlemen, be prepared. Elizabeth, how are you? How are you on this beautiful, beautiful afternoon, or nearly close to midnight for you, or even past midnight for you? But how are you, Elizabeth? How are you on this beautiful afternoon? There's the Drivers' Championship on screen. 12 points, Norris Verstappen. Further back, Oscar Piastri, P3, 4 points back from his teammate, Lando Norris. The two have been told by Zak Brown to not go near the media area. The media have been told not to go near the two McLaren drivers. Max Verstappen has went up to it. He's gone to the media area. He's been with the media all weekend. And, well, he's almost as excited as we are. Or more or less, he knows what he has to do. Max Verstappen, all he has to do, down to turn 1, is beat the two McLarens. That's all he has to do. The two McLarens, all they have to do is, well, beat 1-2. Or Lando Norris can finish off the podium. What's going to happen? This is going to be good. The run to turn 1, the three championship rivals, line 1, 2, and 3. Alex Jakes up in the commentary box, alongside Martin Brundle. So that is your World Feed commentary. Here, I will be cutting to them at certain points in the race. The two Alpines, they've got the suspenseful weight. The front row of the grid has that suspenseful weight of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris of waiting for the two Alpines to line up on the grid. The green flag will wave at the back of the grid and the fans are ready with their cameras. We are about to go racing. For the final time in 2025, the green flag waves at the back of the grid and we've got lights on the gantry. 4, 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go for the final time in 2025. Max Verstappen aggressively cuts to the right hand side, covering off the two McLarens. Lando Norris back around, looking around the outside, but it's not going to happen. Oscar Piastri hanging around there as well. The two McLarens file in, turn 2 they go. Everybody runs through and the McLarens sit 2-3. That is important. Max Verstappen leads. Will he run away or will he back the pack up? That is the big question. Lap 1 of 58, as that is a Haas car going right up the inside of what looks to be Liam Lawson. Gabriel Bortoleto getting in on that as well. But the two McLaren sit 2 and 3 off the grid. Max Verstappen, what an aggressive swoop off the line to, well, practically keep first position. But a good start. Fernando Alonso now to the outside on Charles Leclerc. And there is Ollie Behrman also looking down the inside on what looks to be Liam Lawson. Do not make contact, Ollie Behrman. That will not be good for your race. You've had such a good weekend. Charles Leclerc now covering off Fernando Alonso out of the chicane. And good run for the Ferrari driver. Now Oscar Piastri pulling out a move on Lando Norris. This for the championship right around the outside. I think Lando Norris has let it by. And yes, I think he has. Oscar Piastri up in a P2. He's going aggressive. Lap 1 of 58. Good start though for the top 3. They didn't make contact. But Max Verstappen, he very much swooped right off the line to cover off the two McLarens to not let them by. And I think Lando is playing it safe here, heading on through lap 1 of 58. He's playing it very safe. He doesn't want to be caught up in any drama this early on in the race, and he knows that the championship is on the line. Oscar Piastri, P2. Lando Norris, P3. Was their team orders on lap 1? You wouldn't think that shenanigans would be playing this early on in the race, but the cars now making their way out of turn 1 and filing up through turn 2 they go. Both Alpines sit P19 and P20, but a good start. Oscar Piastri up 1. We have Charles Leclerc up 1, Fernando Alonso up 1. Now, that's good in the championship, even though at this point, Lando would win the championship, and he'd win it by 2 points to Max Verstappen if it finished the way it is. 2 points, Lando Norris to Max Verstappen at this point. And then Oscar would have to now finish first for that margin to close. But Oscar has a much harder job than what the what position 1 and 3 have, which is Verstappen and Lando Norris. They have to, well, just practically finish on the podium and they win the championship. It's much harder for Oscar Piastri. It's a P6 for Lando and a P8 for Max. P6 for Max and P8 for Lando, which is much harder. And the other thing is Oscar has to finish first. So it just makes that a little bit, just makes that challenge a bit harder for the top 3. But Charles Leclerc, the other thing is he can really spoil this party as the cars now make their way out of turn 10 and now making their way up into turn 11 and 12. From 4 shirtless scheduled streams, now there will only be 1. Hey, by the way. Hello, Nicole. Welcome in. Well, the thing is I will do a shirtless stream. Don't count that out. I will do one. But the social media ban coming in. I don't want to schedule 3 other streams to then get banned and not do them. So would you prefer me to wait, confirm that with you guys, and then schedule them? I think that's the smart idea. Because I don't want to schedule them and then you guys be like, oh, nah, this is stupid. So, I don't know. That's just my way. Russell saying over the radio, though, check the brakes. My pedal is going long. That is not good for George Russell, and especially at this circuit when you have high-low braking zones, especially 7 and 8, or even turn 7 is a high-low braking. You get a lot of braking through turn 7. Lewis Hamilton, he's up at a P13, so up 3 spots on the soft compound tyre, but expect him to be in the pits within the next 13 laps. So Hamilton and Albon, well, if you get banned, then scheduled streams wouldn't matter. Yes, but then... Yes, good point. But the other thing is I don't want to schedule them for you guys to get all hyped about it. The thing is, one thing I'm worried about is the hype. I don't want to overhype you guys. That's the problem. I don't want you guys to get... Okay, I'm not going to hype you guys up, but I don't want you guys to get hyped for then the hype to be ruined because I got banned. Yeah, no. It's not worth it to schedule them. If I don't get banned, I'll schedule them. I'll do them. I'll do 3 in a row. But then you've also got to think that was a family thing. That's the reason why I didn't do them. So, that doesn't matter now. If you get banned, it's out of your hands. I know. Exactly. It's out of my hands. So, I'm not going to schedule them until Wednesday. Lewis Hamilton looking up the inside on Ollie Behrman from what looked to be P13. You can schedule it. Okay, I'll schedule them, but don't get hyped. So none would get angry about it. Okay, so I'll schedule them, but yeah. I'll schedule them, but don't get excited about it. Because there's a 50-50 chance it won't happen. So don't get too hyped about it. Charles Leclerc looking around the outside of Lando Norris. Now, Norris definitely has a bit of pace loss here because you'd think Lando would be up on the back of Oscar Piastri in the early part of this race, continuing to put that pressure on. But Max has got good pace at the moment. He's actually running away. If you get banned, there would be no streams. Exactly. So, like, I don't get your point here. I get banned. I don't see how it's a beneficiary for you guys. You guys don't seem too worried about it. I don't know. Lando Norris over the radio.
Speed. And Lando, we're happy with this as long as you're comfortable. This will be plan A, target lap. Plan A, target lap.
So, first radio message there going to Lando Norris saying that this is good, keep it up, and this is target plan A. So, all the teams would have a plan here, and multiple of them as well. So, Lando's just sitting back here. He is not worried that he's under attack by Charles Leclerc. He has no worries whatsoever. All Lando has to do is finish off. If he's off the podium, he doesn't win the championship. And it goes the way of Max Verstappen. At the moment, it's still going the way of Max Verstappen. So, Max Verstappen can win the championship. There's no doubt about it. At this point, he will win the championship. But again, there's 53 laps to go. There is still so long left in this race. 53 laps to go. Max Verstappen leads 2.2 seconds back to the Australian driver of Oscar Piastri. No, my point is that none would be angry at you if you didn't stream the scheduled streams. If you get banned either way, even if you scheduled them or not, schedule them, you wouldn't stream. Huh? Wait. Nope, my point... Okay. Race... I'll get back to that. Race restart. So this is the race. race replay. So the race's replay of the start. Max Verstappen, he got a pretty good start. I think there was a bit of a bottoming out moment there from both McLarens, which sort of affected them as they went down into turn number 1. And then that move, very aggressive there from Charles Leclerc, looking up inside on the McLaren of Oscar Piastri. This is the point of view for Max Verstappen. Good start. Good start overall there. George Russell pulling to the left-hand side and Max very much covering off and actually making a bit of contact with the McLaren of Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri immediately putting pressure onto the back of Lando. But, of course, the McLaren teams would have planned this out. They know what they're doing. George Russell, bit of wheel spin off the line there, so he started 4th. He's now down to 5th. And is there sign of this long brake pedal into turn number 1? It doesn't seem like it. He would have run a bit more wide if he did have a long brake pedal lap 1. But I think that's just sort of come in as this race has evolved throughout the last 3 laps. So this is the move. This is the McLarens moving positions. This is Oscar Piastri around the outsides, turn 8, and I think that's the move done. Yes, it certainly is. And in the process of that battling, that margin has increased between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. This is Oscar pulling to the outside, hard compound tyres. Actually, you would think that the hards would be slower on the first couple of laps, but Oscar has obviously worked them in quite nicely, and he's moved himself up into position 2. Lando Norris has dropped to position 3, and Charles Leclerc dropped to position 4. Let's get to these messages, shall we? So, we have got, nope, my point is that no one would be angry at you if you don't stream the scheduled streams. If you get banned either way, even if you scheduled them or not scheduled them, you wouldn't stream. Yeah, so, if I get banned and I scheduled them, you guys wouldn't care. Okay, that's practically your point. Let's say it more simple. Schedule them or not schedule them. None gets angry if you don't stream because of the ban. Okay. The last time that I read it, it made more sense. Because it went through my brain. Because I read it out loud. Instead of mumbling. Yeah. On board here with Lewis Hamilton into the braking zone. No, this is Charles Leclerc. Into the braking zone. And just slightly catching the Ferrari, slightly catching the McLaren of Lando Norris, who sits in P3 at the moment. 51 laps to go in this race, and that margin continuing to close between Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. But yes, 51 laps to go. If there is no safety car in this race, it will make strategy quite interesting in terms of pit stops and all that sort of stuff. So if there is no safety car, it will make this race very, very interesting. Yes, Charles Leclerc, he leads 0.5 of a second is the gap between the two, P3 and P4. Max Verstappen leads by 2 seconds, 51 laps to go on this race. And Lando Norris being asked, we've asked Oscar to move over. So we've asked, okay, that's strange. Now that is strange. Why they are doing this, I have no idea. Unless I didn't read the message right. Hulkenberg into the pit lane. Possibly damage on the Kick Sauber car, but that's very strange. I obviously didn't read the message right, because, like, why would you let Oscar... Why would you move Oscar over? That makes no sense. Oscar over the radio.
Let's see if we can stop Verstappen under pressure.
Okay, so that would explain my questions. What Lando's engineer has told Lando is that they've told Oscar to put Max under pressure. My words haven't worded this weekend at all. And I think it's because I haven't commentated in a while. And I think after this race I'll have gotten used to it. I will have definitely gotten used to it by the end of this race, as Charles Leclerc continues to put pressure. He's inside that DRS range, which is, of course, 1 second. For those people that don't know what DRS is, it is drag reduction system. So it practically gives you more power down when you're inside 1 second of the car in front, when that 1 second margin, and that's only, of course, down straights, not through corners. So, important note, the 3 championship rivals sit 1, 2, and 3. We've got 47 laps to go in this race, so still a chunk of this race to go. Still got 1 pit stop to perform for each and every one of these drivers. Oscar Piastri will be running long on those hard compound tyres, and that's why they've asked Piastri to just sort of push a little bit more. Hamilton in early, off the soft compound tyres, onto the hard compound tyres. That all sounds good, but I have a deficit of shirtless stream. Huh? That all sounds good, but I have a deficit of shirtless streams. How is that funny? Okay, I'm stupid, so I don't. That all sounds good, but I have a deficit. That doesn't sound good. Sorry, that's Lando Norris struggling with the right front tyre. Has Lando Norris possibly got a problem with his right front tyre on that car? But he's very much struggling, though, at the moment. Oscar, of course, you did hear that Oscar's been asked to start putting pressure. I think you mean deficiency. Oh, I have a deficiency. Okay, I get it now. I get it. Yeah. Deficiency. That's good. That is good. Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Lando has definitely picked up the pace a little bit. He's pulled 3/10 on Lando Norris that lap, but you can definitely tell Oscar is pushing. Now, if this is all the pace Oscar has, he's got a bit of a problem at the moment. He will have a problem if this is the only pace that he has. You wouldn't think this is the only pace he has, but 10 laps into a hard tyre stint, the hards would start coming in within the next 5 laps or so, you would think, and then they'd be the quicker tyre. But we've also already seen pit stops from Lewis Hamilton and Nico Hülkenberg. He went in on hard compound tyres, and he's under investigation between him and Gasly. At least Elizabeth got me. Yeah, at least Elizabeth got you the first time. I didn't get you. I had no idea what you were saying the first time around. Nico Hülkenberg on those hard compound tyres. Fastest lap of the race, 128.4. Of course, no fastest lap points anymore in Formula 1 compared to the feeder series, which I have been streaming a lot. Max Verstappen, though, he's your race leader. 1.9 seconds back to Oscar Piastri. That margin's just increased slightly, 2.1. So Max is on a lap that is pretty good, actually. Max is on a lap that's pretty good. And Lando is actually catching by about half a tenth a lap. Not much whatsoever. So Lando definitely has a problem with his front tyres here. Probably not turning them on as much as what he wants. Turn 8 driving erratically. That is Lawson and Behrman. And Nice has said, we think Verstappen's graining has started. Your tyres look in better condition than his. So Verstappen's tyres have already started graining. That is how bad the medium compound tyres are. And what he means by graining is the tyres start to, you know, on road tyres where you see those little, I don't know what you'd call them, hairy bits on a tyre. You know that? Well, it's practically what's happening to Max Verstappen right now. And that is like driving on ice. It is not good. It is not a good thing. You lose grip in that front tyre. And it's not a good thing. So that's what it means by draining. So that tyre is starting to drain up a little bit. So you'll hear me saying that a lot in this race. So I wasn't expecting the tyres to fall off as quickly as what they have. Which means, yeah, they're wearing off. So I was not expecting that, actually. That was very quick. These medium tyres wearing off very quickly. Andrea Stella, they're thinking possibly and talking with the engineers on the pit wall. They'll be talking with them, and the engineers will be talking with Andrea, and they'll be thinking of a strategy. So Lando is looking after his tyres a little bit more here, and that's why you saw, possibly, Lando dropping in behind Oscar, and Oscar on those hard tyres will be quicker. Nice will be world champion if he stays where he is. He will be world champion by 2 points. But if Oscar overtakes Verstappen, he will move up to what I think will be second. He'll stay third. He will stay third, but it will be a 2-point margin. Overall, it will be 6 points, meaning both Verstappen and Norris will have to drop to 6th and 8th. The likelihood of that happening? Not very likely. Not up to this point here, but there's a comfortable gap. First, second, and third, there's a comfortable gap. It's about 2 seconds between both of them, between both of the McLarens, and then Verstappen has a 2-second gap between Verstappen and Piastri. So there is comfortable margins between the top three. And then Nice has started picking the pace up a little bit. He's looked after his rears and his fronts as well very nicely. Through 7, through 8, the cars go. And Nice now on the power, getting the traction down. on approach to turn number 9, it's about 290 kilometers an hour, even 300 kilometers an hour on that data graph there. So nearly on approach to 300 k's an hour is Lando Norris. To turn 9, fast right, and then back into an off-camber left-hander. You can tell there, what I mean by off-camber is the road is just slightly banked a little bit, which means the tyre is lifted off the ground during that banking sort of section, and it actually loses you grip through the off-banking section. So through the, so that off-banking sort of section, it does very much lose you grip because, of course, that left front tyre is off the ground, and even like the left rear as well. And what I mean by off the ground is, I mean it's very slightly off the ground, so it's not much whatsoever. Max Verstappen, 0.1 faster on lap 9. Lap 10 he was 3,000ths faster. Lap 11 he was 7,000ths faster. Lap 12, that last lap, he was only 500ths faster. So overall, Max Verstappen over 1 lap pace, he's good. Over 1 lap pace at the moment. But I think as the race evolves, Max will get better over that long distance. We did hear in the interviews that McLaren think that Verstappen is quicker. Feature of this. Nice saying my graining is definitely picking up over the radio at the moment. So nice feeling the tyres he's got at the moment. Nice has looked after his tyres 3 laps better than what Verstappen has. So very interesting to note as well. Oliver Bearman, he currently sits in P12 and he's under investigation. There's about 3 or 4 cars that are under investigation at the moment. Now, there is currently an ad that's just popped up. It's not like an ad. You know how ads just pop up during races and you know, that sort of stuff. It's just one of those, like, zoom out sort of ads, you know? I'm just going to shut up. I'm not going to shut up, but I'm just not going to mention the ads. When the little advertisements pop up, I'm just not even going to mention them. Pit window for the medium tyres, we're expecting lap 20 to 26. So, lap 20, and the TV production team have guesstimated that being the way that Verstappen and both Norris have picked up on their graining. Now, the hards should go about 45 laps, which is a very good stint on hard compound tyre. So, Oscar looking for an overcut, I would guess. Pierre Gasly into the box, and I think he's taking off the hard compound, or medium compound tyre for Gasly, taking off that medium tyre onto what could be the hard compound tyre. Now, of course, there is still a constructors' fight, and that is between Aston Martin and Haas. 7th and 8th. At the moment, it would be Aston Martin. That would be 7th, and Haas, that would be 8th. Liam Lawson, 5-second time penalty for an incident that has happened, and that is for driving erratically against Ollie Bearman. So that's question answered. So 5-second time penalty for Liam Lawson. He will probably be serving that in his next pit stop. He will be serving that within his next pit stop as well. Liam Lawson, of course, the driver just in front as we ride on board with Ollie Bearman. Just in front is Liam Lawson. There is Laurent Ocon and Flavia Baratori. I am absolutely awful at pronouncing names. So I'm lucky I'm actually not on the World Feed commentary because I would absolutely be awful at pronouncing names. Russell being told to box this lap. So boxing for Russell. We'll see what tyre George Russell does go on to as he makes his way into the pits and the car gets lifted up off what looks to be the medium tyres onto the soft compound tyres, or hard compound tyres, sorry, on that car now for George Russell. Onto the hards, Hadjar and Bearman in. We'll see what tyres Hadjar goes on to, and that is of which the hard tyres, which is what we would be expecting. Oscar Piastri fastest through the first sector. His pace is picked up, and he's about half a second faster this lap than what Max Verstappen is. So the tyres have turned on now for Oscar Piastri. We've currently got Russell, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Hadjar, Albon, Bearman, and Gasly that have boxed in this race. And out comes Liam Lawson onto the hard tyres. So it's Isaac Hadjar on the hard compound tyres. So a very good stop there. Now, if there was a safety car at this point in the race, it would help people like Max Verstappen to get an undercut on Oscar Piastri, and that would mean that Oscar would have to box, you would think, if there was a safety car. Virtual safety car, it would more or less benefit nobody. depending on if you're close to the pit lane or not. That would very much benefit you. That would very much benefit either of the McLarens at this point. Because if they were close to the pit lane, they'd be able to box. And they'd gain that advantage. There is the Lando Norris crew, what seems to be trying to flank the Red Bull crew into trying to box. So the McLaren crew are trying to get Max Verstappen to box here on lap 16 and trying to get that undercut for Oscar Piastri. This is good play. This is a very good play from the McLaren team. Gabriel Bortoleto into the box and onto the hard compound tyres and spinning the tyres slightly. It seems to be that left front was a bit of a problem. Hard tyres, that pit window, we're expecting 39 laps out of the hard tyres, so Bortoleto can go to the end on this tyre at the moment. We have Russell, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto, Albon, Hadjar, Behrman, Gasly, Piastri, Tsunoda, all on the hard tyres.
And keep building this gap on Leclerc. It gives us choices.
So he's building a bit of a gap to Leclerc, and it definitely seems like Leclerc does not have the pace to keep up with the McLarens. We did see a graph in FP1, or I think it was FP2, saying that the McLarens are obviously about a second lap faster than the Ferraris. So that was just Norris backing it off slightly. He was a second faster on that last lap. Alonso now, this lap, being told to box. In comes one of the McLarens, and that is what I think will be... That is Lando Norris into the box. This is an important stop. The one and only stop. 41 laps will be on this hard compound tyre. Nice stop from Lando Norris on what looks to be for an undercut on either Verstappen or Piastri. Could this pit stop change the race? 2.1. That pit stop now for Lando Norris. Good stop. 2.1 seconds. 4.1 seconds for Fernando Alonso. So that was a very slow stop for the Aston Martin driver. Now, Lando Norris will come out P9. If it was to finish this way, it won't finish this way because other people still have to box. Piastri would win the championship.
In this Grand Prix, do you think we can do Plan A? Thoughts on Plan A? I think it's doable for now.
I'm guessing Plan A is to run long. Plan A, you would think Plan A would be to run long. Plan A would be to run long. Surely that's what Plan A is at this point. Oscar Piastri now making his way up through and into turn 11. And he's actually catching Verstappen ever so slightly. He is very much catching him. Now, I'm going to guess Piastri will be out on those tyres for another 20 laps. And they will just continue to get better for the next 15 laps or so. Until they then start to die off slightly. Nice. Verstappen. Verstappen would win the championship if it was to stay this way. Oscar would be right on the back of Norris. But yeah, Verstappen would now win the championship by 11 points. That's not going to stay the way it is. Not at this point here. But Lando Norris leads this race. Hypothetically, Lando Norris leads this race in terms of pit stops. He sits 9th and he's the first of the pit stop runners to complete a pit stop up to this point. But this race is very much shaping out. 40 laps to go. George Russell.
The traffic for Lando. That's not moving at the brake, I don't know what it is.
But yes, Lando is very much in traffic. Literally, as I braked, he moved. Now, Russell up the inside goes Lando Norris. That was a risky move. And nearly made contact with the other Mercedes driver of what was, I think, Antonelli. So Russell complaining over the radio that he's being moving under braking of what I think would be Charles Leclerc. The gap between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, 30 seconds. What is the predicted pit stop time down the pit lane? I think it's about 25 seconds. The pit transition time there. Williams driver up in front of what I think is Carlos Sainz on the medium tyres. He has better grip. Is Lando Norris around the outside and move done. He's very much being held up at this point. This is what happened at Qatar. Lando Norris was being held up by other drivers, and it was not helping him. It actually hurt him in the race, and it led Max Verstappen to win the championship. It did. It led Max Verstappen to win the championship. So this is huge in the championship at the moment because it's Max Verstappen that would win the championship. It would. Lando Norris, though, is currently chasing down Lance Stroll for 6th place. Car in, that is, I think, Carlos Sainz into the pit lane. And there is Lando Norris chasing down Lance Stroll. This is for P6, but that margin between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri, 1.6. Max will box, I feel, within the next 3 or 4 laps, you would think. But yes, Lando does have 17 lap younger tyres than what Max Verstappen does. So he will be getting an undercut, and that grip for Lando is helping him because he's got a good run on Lance Stroll, and he'll be making the move off to the left-hand side of the road. Wouldn't want to be on that side where all the marbles are. Down the inside, move done on Lando Norris, and he gets the move done. 2 for 1. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Absolutely perfect, and that is a good definition of that saying. Move done, and he's up in a P5. So now the nearest traffic is Yuki Tsunoda, which is 4 seconds up the road, and he'll be catching him at a rate of knots. Verstappen is getting nervous about us, Oscar. Let's push up to him. So Verstappen is getting nervous about Oscar Piastri and the 2 McLarens. Now, this is not what Max Verstappen would have been planning. Not at this point in the race. So Oscar continuing to push here on lap 20. 38 laps to go, and we've got a championship fight on our hands. Lando Norris, though, P5, and the margin closes to 5 points in the championship. All 3 of the championship contenders will be wanting to win. It's about a 27-second transition time down the pit lane. Now, this is good play from the McLaren team onto the hard... Good play from the McLaren team. They've stuck Piastri on the hards as they're Lewis Hamilton getting a move done on what I think is one of the Aston Martins. Yes, that is Fernando Alonso, I think. Or one of the RBs. No, it was Fernando Alonso that he was trying to get that move done on. And he's going to once more pull a move. Sorry, this is Lance Stroll and Charles Leclerc getting a move done. And double move once more for Charles Leclerc. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone once more. And Charles Leclerc gets the move done. The 2 Mercedes battling what I think is for P8 and P9, and in behind that is Lewis Hamilton and Nico Hulkenberg, who currently has the fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson, Liam Lawson looking around the outside on Charles Leclerc. That move will not be done, not at this point in the race. 37 laps to go. Turn 6, incident involving Liam Lawson and Stroll noted. So, battle for 3rd. We're expecting Lando Norris to catch Yuki Tsunoda in the next 4 laps at this pace. If he continues this pace, he will catch him. Max is running long on those medium tyres, but he's getting hurt in the process. The margin is only 27.9 seconds, meaning Norris would grab Verstappen. Up to this point, Norris would grab Verstappen. On count back, Norris would grab Verstappen and would win the championship by a clear margin. Max to Yuki is 25 seconds, and the average pit stop loss time is 21 seconds. So that is huge. And the margin, if you think about it, it's 25 seconds. So Max would still lead the race. According to the maths, according to the world feed here, it's saying Max will still lead the race once he comes out of the pit box. Tsunoda.
Okay, we expect Norris to be your DRS within 1 lap. Or you can when he catches.
So, Tsunoda Team Radio being told, give it all you can when he catches. So, they're hoping Tsunoda is going to hold up Lando Norris. Oh my God, this could be a big championship deciding part of the race. They're hoping Tsunoda holds up Lando Norris. Tsunoda is going to be used as a tool. He can do that for the next 18 laps as long as he doesn't block. As long as Tsunoda doesn't block Lando Norris, he could. Verstappen will come out in the lead by nearly 7 seconds. Tsunoda,
he's going to have.
He knows what he has to do. So leave me alone. That is what Tsunoda has just said over the radio. He's going to hold up Lando Norris as much as possible. Of course, he can't do that without blocking. But Verstappen will win the championship by 4 points up to this point. And this move that Norris makes on Tsunoda is for the championship lead. It's for the championship lead. Lawson into the box. 1.6 seconds. Yuki to Lando. At the moment, this move is for the championship lead. This move is for the championship lead. And this has been a good recovery drive after the pit stop for Lando. 8.9 seconds, that pit stop for Liam Lawson. That is not a good stop whatsoever. And I think that is for the penalty that he got applied for driving erratically. I think that is what that's for. And that would explain. That. So Liam Lawson now drops to P20. And both Alpines now moved up into P18 and P19. 36 laps to go on lap 22 of this race. Of course, 58 lap race. And Max crosses the line and starts lap 23. Nice to Leclerc. He's pulling away by about a tenth a lap. Nice. So not much pace on the back of the McLaren, but Tsunoda is definitely pushing. Tsunoda is pushing on those hard tyres. He's been on those tyres for 23 laps. 22 lap younger tyres is Tsunoda. Leclerc is only 1.4 seconds behind Norris. So Leclerc could come into this as well. Tsunoda is a big play in this championship fight. He can change this championship in an instant. The margin when Verstappen exits the pit lane will be 5 seconds. Verstappen has stayed out because he wants to try and play an overcut. And he will get hurt by Oscar if he boxes. So Verstappen is caught in a corner to the point where he has no chance. He has no other way, but he has to stay out. Off to the left-hand side goes Lando Norris and gets the move done. That was aggressive, and Yuki will try and fight back, but with the grip of what Lando Norris has, he gets the move done and up into P3. He leads the championship now. Norris leads the championship, and that now turns Red Bull on its head. Red Bull is in the mud. Lando is on to win this championship. He's got 35 laps to go. Box. In comes Verstappen. He has to box now. He has no choice. He's boxed. Verstappen in. Up on the jacks. And this has to be a quick pit stop, and it is for Red Bull. Good quick pit stop, 2.3. 0.2 slower. That can be huge. There is Norris. Norris sitting right there. He's about 25 seconds back. Watch for where Norris is. Where will he appear? There's Verstappen. Norris coming into turn 1. Piastri.
Okay, you got some clear air. Let's see how this tyre recovers.
Piastri being told, you've got some clear air. Let's see how this tyre goes. And Verstappen leads. Oh my God, Verstappen will lead the champion. Verstappen leads this race at the moment. Here, Lando Norris. Let's take a look at how this move was done. Pulling to the left-hand side and Yuki covering very much. And not letting Lando by at all. And moving to that right-hand side, you can look at the amount of marbles that are off the right-hand side there. And that would have put junk on Lando Norris's tyre. Oil and dust and dirt and gunk all over that tyre now for Lando Norris, and it'll take him 3 or 4 laps to clear that. Under investigation, Tsunoda and Norris has bin noted. Now, is that because is that on part of Norris, or is that on part of Tsunoda? Under investigation, is that for moving in the braking zone for Tsunoda? I think Zach Brown, I don't think he has worries on his face whatsoever. I think he's clear. But Lauren Meekes, on the other hand, he's going to be a worried chappy at this point. He's going to be worried. Piastri, 18 seconds the gap. They want to try and recover Piastri's tyre as much as possible. He's going to be pushing like a rat man dead. 18.7 seconds the gap. 21 seconds you will lose in the pit lane. Now, Piastri has to find 4 seconds on Verstappen. The chances of that happening, not very high, I wouldn't think. There's not very much of a chance of that happening. Not at this point. He has to pull about half a second a lap, Piastri, and Verstappen on brand new tyres. I don't think the chances of that happening are very high. Piastri would probably... Piastri's going to box in the next 15 laps or so. I would think Piastri's going to box in the next 15 laps. You wouldn't want to get off those hards too early, knowing that the mediums won't last 20, 30-something laps. That's what I'm thinking. at the moment. Charles Leclerc pulling to the left-hand side, and that is a move done on Yuki Tsunoda. You can tell he hasn't fought that one as hard on Charles Leclerc, but gets that move done. And I don't think there'll be much worry for Verstappen. There will very much be not much worry at McLaren, should I say. Tsunoda and Nice, turn 5, forcing another driver off the track has been noted. That turn 5. So that's good to know. That is good to know. Yes, we have 33 laps to go. And there's definitely a championship fight playing out in our hands here. Safety car would change this race. If there was a safety car, Piastri would most likely lead this race. Most likely. Leaving the track, gaining advantage under investigation. Norris and Tsunoda. There's no worry for McLaren. I don't feel like there'd be much worry on McLaren's faces. Not at this point, at least. Well, there wouldn't be worry at all because Tsunoda was the one that was driving erratically, forcing another driver off the track, and that will be probably Tsunoda's penalty. You would think that would be Tsunoda's penalty, but you never know. You would never know. Not in this championship, at least. Very much. We have a 17-second margin. Piastri to Verstappen in this race is now, as we hit the halfway mark. It's exactly the halfway mark. We're now starting to just see this race sort of unfold a little bit, and to see where these drivers will come out after pit stops. Of course, after pit stops are done. Of course, unlike Qatar, we haven't seen a safety car. Now, I'm going to guess there's at least 5 seconds cut off that pit stop time. If a safety car was to come out, or even a virtual safety car, even. Because the field, of course, isn't as bunched up, but the field is also slowed down. And that would very much play into Oscar's hands if there was a safety car that was to come out. Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race, 128.0, coming there lap 27 on that lap there. So Leclerc will be catching Nice at a rate of knots. But now everybody on the hard compound tyre. And Piastri, I'm going to guess, will be running as long as possible on those hards. Maybe even to lap 49, you would think. Another 20 laps on those hards. That is a stint and a half for those hard compound tyres. And then 9 laps on the mediums. And see exactly what that McLaren driver can do. But, yes, still about 29 laps to go. The pace is mega well done over the radio for Charles Leclerc. Pace is mega. That's exactly what a driver would be wanting to hear over the radio. He'll be keeping that up as much as possible. 30 laps to go in this race. Charles Leclerc started 5th. He's now 4th and, well, in the fight for the win of this race. 10-lap old hard compound tyres compared to Lando's, which is about 4 laps older. So he's got younger tyres than what Lando has. Because, of course, he boxed quite early off those hards. And I think it's about 11-lap old hard tyres. Lando Norris, though, fastest lap of the race, 127.9. And once more, pulls the margin, 2.2 seconds to Charles Leclerc. This is Andre Kimi Antonelli being pulled out on Fernando Alonso. Move done. And the experienced Fernando Alonso gets a move done on the not-so-experienced. I think that was George Russell there. But Fernando Alonso has been in this sport for quite a long time. He knows what he's doing and gets the move done. Sorry, that was on Kimi Antonelli. So, move done quite nicely. And pit stop lost time is 21 seconds. Now, where would this unfold? Oscar's just, Piastri's just, Lando's just done the fastest lap of the race. And Oscar is about 19 seconds. About 20 seconds. So he would come out third, Oscar. He would come out third. There's no doubt about it. He would come out third up to this point. If, of course, Oscar was to box this lap. But Oscar's continuing to push. 15 seconds. He will not lead the race. That is very much not what we were expecting. We're not expecting Piastri to lead the race, but we're expecting the two McLarens to come out line astern up to this point. Up to this point, we're expecting the two McLarens to come out line astern, coming into turn number 2. 29 laps to go. This race is just very much calmed down now, and it's now just a matter of seeing when Piastri will box in this race. If Piastri does box, I'm expecting Piastri to box in the next 9 laps, maybe 10, 20 laps, possibly 20 laps, maybe another 20 laps on those hard tyres. It is a long stint on those hards, but you never know. We wait until that message pops up of Piastri saying, my tyres are degrading. Or the other way around. We will have to wait and find out, I suppose. Wait and find out. As up the inside on Russell, on Tsunoda, move done, and Tsunoda drops to 6th, and Yuki Tsunoda 5-second time penalty for, well, more than one change of direction. So that's what the Tsunoda penalty was given for moving in more than one direction, apparently, according to the FIA. And Tsunoda now 5-second time penalty, and he'll probably now be boxing this lap off those hards, or maybe in the next 10 laps on to the medium tyres. But he will have pretty dead tyres at the end of the race. No further action. Nice in Tsunoda turn 5, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So that's what that was. That's why Nice was under investigation. That explains that. Okay, so that explains that. That's why Nice was under investigation, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Interesting. Interesting indeed. But again, he was pushed. Nice was pushed. So yeah, I suppose that's why they haven't given the penalty, because he was pushed. But yes, up to this point, it would be Nice who wins the championship. So he has nothing to worry about now. Except possibly to come out in front of his teammate. So if he was to come out in front of his teammate, then maybe that might change a little bit. But I don't think it will. 18 seconds now. So both Verstappen and Nice are gaining on Piastri by about half a second a lap. Bortoleto around the outside of Kimi Antonelli into turn 9, and moved on up into P10. So Kick Sauber, driver of Bortoleto, grabs points. What could be for the last time this year. Well, it will be for the last time this year. Sorry, not could. It will be for the last time this year. 27 laps to go in the FIA Formula 1 World Championship. And will we have a championship battle on our hands? Black and white flag. Kimi Antonelli, track limits. Now, the FIA have given Antonelli way too many chances, and the FIA have now said, nah, you're out of chances. Hamilton now also out of chances, and that's his last warning. Lewis Hamilton, before he gets a penalty for track limits. And Lewis Hamilton in P8. And that would not be good, of course, if Lewis got a penalty, because that would not give him points either. Nice will be world champion if it stays the way it is. If Piastri stays first, which is unlikely, Piastri move up to second, and only about 6 points off the back. Verstappen would then move to third and be 3 points off the back of Lando. And that would be the worst case scenario for Max Verstappen, the Dutch driver, who will be hoping to go 5-time champion of the world. For Max Verstappen, 7 lap old tyres for Max, and that's why he's actually gaining quite rapidly on Max, and he's just set the fastest lap of the race in the process. Good lap for Max, fastest lap.
Right behind Leclerc.
We have been given a 5-second penalty for moving twice on a defence of Norris.
Penalty? A penalty ball.
We've got a penalty for moving twice in defence to Norris. Head down.
So Tsunoda not very happy. So apparently he moved twice. Now, I'm guessing what they mean by moved twice is they mean he made one defensive move and then moved over again. So I'm guessing that's what they meant. Lewis Hamilton, off the hard tyres, onto the mediums. Oof. The mediums will last 20 laps. 26 laps. Wow. Okay. 26 laps. I don't think those mediums will last that long. And if they do, he will have pretty dead tyres by the end of the race. But for the first 5, 6, 7 laps of the race, for the first 5, 6, 7 laps of that stint on the mediums, he will feel pretty good. But I think it's because Hamilton didn't like the hards. And that's dropped him now down into P19. And going for a 2-stop is the Ferrari team. And I think Hamilton was one of the first to box. Lando, if he was to finish the way it is, he would win the championship. At the moment, he leads the championship by 12 points to Max Verstappen. 5.6 the margin for Verstappen to Norris. All three of these drivers are pushing. They're pushing at their maximum at the moment. They are very much pushing. All-out attack for all three of these drivers. 10.9 seconds, and into the box comes Yuki Tsunoda. He will be serving that 5-second time penalty as well. Turning in, and 5-second penalty being served. And that will be very much hurtful for Yuki. 7.9 second pit stop. That will drop him all the way back down the back of the grids. Kimi Antonelli into the box, and that is his second pit stop. So 2 stop for some of these drivers, possibly. Or unless, I would think, soft tyres for Piastri at the very end of this race. Esteban Ocon round the outside, and that would be, I think, move done on Kimi Antonelli. .24 laps to go. Oscar leads this race. Now, that graph that popped up at the start of the race, and it said hard tyres for about 40 laps. That can be a play. That possibly could be a play. Here, Norris will be world champion, and Verstappen will drop to 3rd if it was to finish the way it was. But of course, Oscar still has to take a compulsory pit stop. 24 laps to go in this race. 24 laps, and my voice is a dead pigeon. My voice is very much a dead pigeon right now. My voice is dead. And I think I'm sweating balls. I think I am very much sweating. Sweating. Lando Norris currently sits in P3 and heading into the chicane. He goes. Verstappen on the radio.
Basically, we need our fastest to the end, Max. We don't want to give away too much race time to Piastri, who will undoubtedly be relatively quick on this medium.
So, medium tyre, Red Bull are thinking. McLaren will go medium. But of course, there was that strategy there that they can go soft tyres, but it wouldn't be a very good tyre. Very much wouldn't be a very good tyre as the McLaren team starts setting the tyres up for a pit stop for Oscar, but that's a 35-lap-old hard tyre. He's done a pretty good stint, actually, so 40 laps, we're thinking, on that hard. And it will take 8 laps for Verstappen to catch Oscar. 4 laps. Piastri, at this rate, will, and I mean will, be 3rd and he'll be about 10 seconds off the back of Norris. He will be about 10 seconds off the back of Norris. So, championship hopes dead.
Race today.
And Lando doing a great job compared to Leclerc. He might pit soon and go on a 2, in which case we'll cover it the next lap.
So, Verstappen possibly going for a 2-stop. 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 2-stop would win Piastri the championship. I would not hop off those hard tyres. 2-stop would win Piastri the championship. Am I right? Am I right or am I right? It would win Piastri the championship if they did a 2-stop. And so why would you do that? On board with Oscar Piastri though, yet to pit. Yeah, I don't know why you'd do that. Why would you box? That would be really stupid. That would be really stupid. 22 laps to go though. But I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, very much. Verstappen he's picked up the pace rapidly though. He's caught it by 13 seconds over 16 laps. That is some quick lap times, and he's catching him by a second a lap. A second a lap for Max Verstappen. Wow. Nice, back to Leclerc, 5 seconds. So Piastri would be in an air gap. It wouldn't be a 10-second margin because you've got to think, okay, I didn't think of that. Leclerc is in behind and he's about 5 seconds. He's about 5 seconds behind. Lewis Hamilton looking up the inside on Franco Colapinto. He should get the move done. I think he does get the move done on Franco, the Alpine driver, just letting him by. He's not going to fight that. Not going to fight that. Not for the moment, at least. But Verstappen, 6.4 seconds. He's caught him by another second on that lap. Albon, instead of speeding in the pit lane. That has been noted. So, Albon, obviously, he's put the pit limit on a bit too late.
First World Championship. How's this tie now? Really starting to get a bit worse now. Okay.
So Piastri, they're just saying over the radio, really starting to get a bit worse. Now thinking lap 39, that hard tyre, powered by AWS. So AWS, they're showing that information. 39 laps on that hard tyre. Yes, no, possibly, maybe another 2-3 laps. Box for Piastri, wouldn't want to lose too much time. Again, on that hard tyre. Very much. 36 laps he's been on that hard, so good stint there for Oscar. And he will probably be within the next 4 laps, I would guess. And he's going to go on to the mediums. Possibly. Possibly on the medium tyres for Piastri. As he rounds turn 8. And up into turn number 9. And he goes. 5.2 seconds. Verstappen just set another fastest lap of the race. So, 126.8. Wow, that's quick. And he's also pulled away from Norris as well. So, Verstappen is actually pulling himself out of this hole that he was dug in about 20 laps ago. 27 laps ago. He's digging himself very nicely out of this hole, and he's putting himself in a good position. He's putting himself in a pretty good position at this point, as the McLaren team continue to set up the tyres. This is an important pit stop. Once it is done, it is an important pit stop for the McLaren crew. Because if they mess this up, it confirms that Piastri will lose this championship. And he can't win the championship either. He can't. He can't win the championship at where these two are at the moment. If both of them did a 2-stop and Piastri's on a 1-stop, he'd win the championship. So why would you follow Verstappen in? Why would you follow Verstappen in? That makes 0 sense. Why would you follow him in? You'd just lose yourself the championship, Lando, if you followed Verstappen in. Because Oscar still has a stop to do. They bring him in. He comes out. He overtakes a couple of cars and wins the championship. So, why would you do that? Albon incident speeding in the pit lane under investigation, Alex Albon. And at the moment, Albon is... I'm not sure. But at the moment, the tyre strategy has gone 23 laps for Verstappen on mediums. And he's just done 14 laps on the hards. Norris has gone 16 laps on the mediums and 21 laps on those hards. So, bit of a longer stint. Again, obviously, Piastri has gone a longer stint. 3 seconds to the margin. At this point, no, I'm not kidding. Literally, I think Piastri's going to come out 4th, close to 5th at this point. They're trying to get to the end of these hard tyres life, but they're just nerfing Piastri. They're nerfing him. They're not even giving him a chance. Why are they running Piastri so long? This is going to be 5th at best for Piastri. I mean, what? There's 23 seconds, probably 4th in behind Leclerc. But, like, they're nerfing Piastri. Verstappen is catching him by a second a lap. That is... There's some mind games going on. There is very much some mind games in play for the championship at the moment. Some championship mind games indeed. This is move done for, I think, Lewis Hamilton. Up inside on Liam Lawson. And that is the move done. Ocon and Gabriel Bortoleto around the outside on Ocon. And Gabriel Bortoleto just leaves him the space and gets the move done. I'm going to get a glass of water and I'll be back.
Chase down a mammoth gap and clear those two cars still. Leclerc comes into the pits. There's the two-stop then.
So Charles Leclerc coming in to get rid of the hard tyres. Remember, Will Joseph said on the radio that if that happened, McLaren would cover it off at the next lap. Fastest first sector of the Grand Prix goes to Lando Norris on what could be an in-lap 2-second stop for Ferrari.
So that will bring him out behind Russell, but in that gap to where Stroll is. And right now it doesn't look like Russell's able to do anything in this Grand Prix. So Leclerc will, based on everything we've seen, get on the back of Russell and pass him fairly quickly.
I think the sensible move for Norris is to pit and take a fresh set of tyres to have no problems going to the end. It'll be a set of hards because that's what McLaren carried over from Friday's practice. Here we go. The message to Norris is box. He'll lose track position to Russell but cover off Leclerc.
So a high-pressured stop for McLaren. Lando Norris will be hitting his marks, applying the speed limiter. And that's the message.
Sorry, he should actually stay ahead of Russell as well. It's even better than that for Norris.
Not a huge amount of luxury for them to play with, though. 26 seconds, so if there was a problem there, could bring Russell back into play. But it is a margin to come in. You lose 21 seconds on average. Here we go, on board with Lando Norris, heading to his crew. They're already the Constructor Champions of this year. Is he going to be the Driver Champion of 2025? 2.4 seconds back into the fast lane, and Norris covers off the pit stop of Charles Leclerc in a dip underneath the racetrack. And this is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix.
This is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix, and it's Verstappen that pulls to the inside, and the move is done. Max Verstappen is the leader of the World Championship, I think. I would only think that would be it. Verstappen wins. Oh, maybe. What is the championship going to play out like now? How's the championship going to play out? I think McLaren know that they're safe as long as they don't drop below maybe 6th or 8th. I think that's why they're doing this. But again, at this point now, Piastri will come out second. Piastri will come out second because we saw there that margin of, I think it was like, yeah, Piastri now boxing. So they're taking advantage and they're not going to let Norris undercut Piastri. In comes Piastri. This is a crucial pit stop. And he comes. And pit stop done. On to the mediums. 2.2 second pit stop. Good stop. And he's actually gained 0.2 there as well. So good stop. Watch for where Norris is. It's about a 21 seconds there. Through the pit lane. And now he's at full speed. He will be approaching turn number 1 at full speed. And Piastri jumps him. Good work there from the McLaren team. And now Piastri sits second. He's in front. And now it turns out that Norris will be the championship. Will win the World Championship. He stays there. He wins the World Championship. Norris has won it. With 16 laps to go. He wins the World Championship by 2 points. Wow.
On board with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. He's got George Russell directly ahead of him. Not for much longer. On the brakes into turn 6, and Charles Leclerc retakes 4th position in the final Grand Prix of the year.
Yeah, the problem for Red Bull is Leclerc is doing an okay job at keeping the McLarens honest.
I don't want to be giving up too much time. We want to see whether we can chase down Verstappen here.
Well, the mega stint was promised. Let's see whether that sort of pace is possible. Would be remarkable if it was. Got a couple of skeptics next to me at the box.
Wow, he's going to have to unleash both barrels here, I think, Oscar. He's going to have to be Qatar pace again and then make an overtake at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there is enough gunpowder in those barrels, but let's see. He certainly unleashed an amazing opening lap to bring himself into the best position to try and do something with this World Championship, but Norris equally has been feisty with these overtakes, no sign of jitters or nerves. They're doing everything they need to bring this championship home.
Leclerc on the last lap on his fresh tyres does the fastest lap of the race, a second quicker than Verstappen out front. So Piastri can probably have that pace in a McLaren plus another couple of tenths maybe. I don't think it's going to be quite enough.
Now Lance Stroll has come into the pits. Fernando Alonso is backing the pack up to try and create a bit of a gap for him. He's on board with Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton making his way beyond and up 6 places in the Grand Prix now. He manages to carve his way by Hamilton P10. This is the pace of Charles Leclerc up against Lando Norris last time around. Leclerc on the medium, Norris on the hard tyre. The gap is 4.6 seconds, and self-evidently, Lando Norris cannot lose that amount lap after lap, so McLaren will be monitoring that. It's 4.6 seconds, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. What a turnaround for Ferrari in a world of trouble a week ago.
He's going to need to be 1.5 seconds quicker than you every lap. I'll keep you posted.
So the Red Bull strategy seems to be simply beat Oscar and hope that something happens to Lando in the last 14 laps, and then Max will be world champion. Take the win and hope for a bit of luck. They've not made it massively hard, have they? Left Yuki out, but that was done as quickly as Lando came across it. I'm amazed that they've not made this much harder for McLaren by backing Lando into traffic, by keeping gaps full, by risking their chance of winning the race, but giving massive problems, dramas, dilemmas for the McLaren pit wall.
What was the option for Red Bull at the start of the day? Just to back him completely into the pack, run way off the pace like we saw in 2016, we referenced that. What was the play if they'd gone down that route?
I mean, it's that, isn't it? It's potentially pitting Yuki early, but he was starting on the hard tyre, so they gave that up on the grid. He needed to be on the soft to try and do a Lewis Hamilton level of strategy, get in amongst it and have a pit stop in hand.
What's the picture in front? How do I win this race?
Verstappen is on your pit stop window. He's doing 27.9.
Yeah, Piastri though, 26.7 last time around, so 1.1 quicker. Not the 1.5 that GP Verstappen's engineer suggested he needed. This is it though, in terms of this engine will never race again. We've got different engine regulations next year. Any lifing that's normally in place to restrict the amount of full power, that goes out the window now. This is all about a championship. Another podium doesn't mean anything for Piastri. So I think I'd be inclined to put it in quali mode and tighten the seatbelts and go qualify.
Well, Piastri can light it up at the end of a brilliant campaign for the Australian driver. Took his first Grand Prix pole position this year and instantly transformed into a championship contender. At one point had a lead of 34 points after the Dutch Grand Prix, but it's after that Dutch Grand Prix that things began to change in the Formula One World Championship. Piastri had the podium in Monza. He didn't return there until 1 week ago. And he saw the points lead taken by that man, Lando Norris, in Mexico City. Norris has held it ever since. Verstappen has come roaring back on both McLarens. And it's Norris who still holds the advantage.
So if Max were to take another pit stop, he'd come out right with Oscar still, and maybe even come out just in front of him. It would be very tight. Then you could start to think about, as a final resort, backing off into Piastri, into Norris. Norris has got 4 seconds to Leclerc, and just hope for something. If that doesn't happen, it's simply reliability at this stage in the race, or a complete lapse in concentration for Lando Norris in the last 12 laps. If he doesn't make the pit stop and he just drops back in, then he's not going to have tyres to defend well enough from the McLarens anyway. They'll probably just pass it.
It's the time to do it now. Piastri has the fresher rubber. The chance of pit will expire in a lap's time. Piastri will close that gap down by a second. At the moment, Verstappen could come in, get fresh tyres, and emerge in the lead if it all went to plan.
It's a risk for winning the race, but it will give him a chance to play games in the final 10 laps. If he doesn't do that, he can't really play the games.
Now, I don't feel that that's what's going to be the case. I think that they take a victory and accept the things that are beyond their control. They weren't expecting to be in this championship. They pulled it back. It's been an incredible season for them. And why give away a win?
To be champion?
That is a very valid point, yes, but there's so many variables is the issue.
You've got to do a lot. They will have known everything that Jolin's been telling you about. They knew this was an option. Let's go back to his answer in the press conference on Thursday. He looked across at the World Championship trophy. He said, it's nice, I got 4 of them at home. That is clearly playing a large part in the thinking. If Max Verstappen didn't have a title, this Grand Prix would have looked a lot different.
You're saying they're not trying as hard as they might to win the championship?
They turned it down. They turned it down at the start. They've turned it down now. If Max Verstappen stopped right now, he would come out behind Oscar Piastri.
So they have lost that chance to control the race and play the Hamilton-esque games with Rosberg. Hamilton was so hungry for that title. You had Paddy Lowe, technical director of Mercedes at the time, saying, Lewis, what are you doing? And he disobeyed the team orders. He tried to give Rosberg as much of a headache as possible.
Finish twice catching him or not?
Fairly equal pace, Max, between them. Last lap was a couple of tenths quicker, but nothing drastic.
Verstappen asking for the update. That was a look at the winner's trophy. He's on his way in this season to win the most Grand Prix, which is outrageous on its own. When McLaren are Constructors' champions by a mile, Oscar Piastri has 7 Grand Prix wins, Lando Norris has 7 Grand Prix wins, and he's on his way to Grand Prix win number 8. But crucially, he's going to miss out, and he's only going to miss out by 2 points.
Yeah, it's been an incredible end to the season. I think that question, though, kind of validates, Julian, what you were surmising. That he's trying to figure out, well, look, if Charles is in play, then maybe that is a strategy. But if he isn't, then I think the victory will round off. And it's not just about Max and the World Championship. It's about all of the men and women that work building this car. And it's, 30-odd days from the end of the season through to the beginning of testing of the new cars. It's relentless, this sport. And victories are so difficult to come by.
Oscar Piastri's pace is terrific. It's not enough to close down the gap. It's 19 seconds between Verstappen and Oscar Piastri, first and second. Lando Norris knew that third would be enough. He has a 4.1 second advantage over Charles Leclerc.
And you have to say, this has been a great drive from Verstappen. 20 seconds clear of his nearest rival. This is a massive gap. 10 laps to go, and Oscar is closing, but not by nearly enough.
Further back in the pack, let's show you another overtake. This is Kimi Antonelli, Isaac Hadjar. These two know each other for some wheel-to-wheel moments in Formula 2 and now Formula 1 as well. They'll be fighting. At least Isaac Hadjar hopes they'll be fighting at the front next year when he takes his place in the Red Bull. Young talent coming through the field in Formula 1. The 21-year-old Isaac Hadjar heading to the Red Bull drive in his second season of Formula 1. Kimi Antonelli not yet 20 years of age.
18 laps fresher tyres for Antonelli and a Mercedes to try and pull off that move on Hadjar. they're going to have plenty more of those battles, aren't they, in their career? And probably next year when Hadjar joins Verstappen at Red Bull, and Antonelli has a second season to put to use what he's learned this year.
Jordan, you've won a Formula 2, it's called GP2 at the time, Formula 2 title. When you're on the way to the title, like Lando Norris is now, do the conscious thoughts start creeping in? Do you start hearing rattles and vibrations that normally you'd ignore?
Honestly, when I won my GP2 title, I didn't know I was going to win the title. I was winning the race. I had Mitch Evans, a Kiwi driver, very quick, right on my exhaust, and I was busy trying to win the race. And then, as a bonus, the team came on and then said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Felipe Nasr, he didn't finish in the points. You're the champion." I thought, that is the nice way. I don't want to think that. Luckily, I had a round to spare as well, so it wasn't quite as obvious. I have won races in the past where you do have these moments though, and you just think, now for Norris, the laps are ticking by. He can't really even see someone in the distance. He's got a nice run where you can see his teammate, but Max is long gone up the road. Just got to hope that things hold together. Stay within track limits. Don't do anything silly. Charles Leclerc is behind, but not catching at a fast enough rate. And you now can't help but think, surely, if you're Norris, you can't help but think, just please get me to the end of this race.
He won the opening Grand Prix of the year in Melbourne. It was a tussle with Max Verstappen, and then Piastri just rattled off 4 of the next 5 Grand Prix. Piastri stole the start that the paddock was expecting of Lando Norris, and there is Oscar Piastri, unable to make a dent in the lead of Max Verstappen, an all-time great in Formula 1. But as it stands, falling 2 points, 2 points short. The Dutch Grand Prix, when he finished second and Lando Norris retired, he was just happy to be in second place. Since then, Verstappen has won in Monza, in Baku, in Austin. He took the sprint race there as well. He won in Las Vegas. He won in Qatar to set up this title decider between 3 drivers. He has put immense pressure on McLaren, but they are now looking not in the centre of the screen. They are now looking top left to the lap count, because it's closing in on the end of the campaign. Let's take you through the order as well. Further down, Carlos Sainz finds himself on slightly fresher tyres compared to Gabriel Bortoleto, 1.2 seconds between the Williams and the Sauber. Bortoleto trying to recover to the points for the first time since Mexico, and it would be only his second point scoring finish since we left the European leg of the season. For Oliver Bearman, it would be 6 point scoring finishes in the last 7 races. A great return for a Haas driver. Lewis Hamilton has made his way from the back in 16th to 8th position. He's trying to go past Esteban Ocon. There are still cars in close proximity racing for position.
So they're doing a fantastic job here, mate. Everything's looking good. There's 5 racing laps, including this one, we think. What are your thoughts on soft or staying out on this hard?
I mean, I think a soccer would be better. It's just, safety car gets delayed or something like the competition.
So now they are right to discuss the possibility of a safety car completely shuffling the pack once again. They have a pit stop window back to Russell, so if there was a safety car, then Norris could pit, lose to Leclerc, which would be crucial, but have fresh tyres to attack. Don't need long memories to realise the last time there was a dramatic late safety car in a title decider here, and McLaren now just trying to cover off the bases.
Still not impossible. Lewis Hamilton is racing Esteban Ocon. Carlos Sainz is racing Bortoleto. They're within the DRS window. They're going wheel to wheel on the racetrack. We're understandably showing you the world champion-elect. He's ticking off the laps.
Hamilton's having a really good drive as well. The Ferrari pace is good today. They just didn't qualify quite well enough. Leclerc maybe on the second row could have had with a better launch, a run towards the McLarens on the first lap. And Hamilton's had so much to do from his Q1 exit. Now, having made the second stop, homing in on Ocon, Aston Martin at this rate will tie with Racing Bulls for points. Hadjar's podium will give Racing Bulls 6th place in the Constructors. You've got Haas trying to bear down on Aston Martin, were anything to go wrong for Alonso, they would take that spot at the moment. So further down in the championship, you've got tens of millions of pounds of prize money all to be decided in these last few laps as well.
It's going all the way to the end. Lando Norris, 3.7 seconds away from Oscar Piastri now, 4.8 seconds away from Charles Leclerc. Underneath the hotel he goes. What a season for McLaren. Oscar Piastri, the points leader by 34 after the Dutch Grand Prix. There is Lando Norris's mum watching on. You can't blame her for hating every single moment of this at the moment. There's Hamilton, wheel to wheel with Esteban Ocon, and he gets by, he gets through and up to 7th place, and he continues his charge through the field, and crucially, for those at the front, he does so cleanly.
And he'll have a look at Fernando Alonso next, or will he?
Ocon roaring back. They're still racing each other. It's still in the balance. And the aero wash of the Haas in front meant a big correction for Lewis Hamilton in 8th position.
And when you see these guys fighting like that and Hamilton fighting the Ferrari like that, you realise how this still could change at the front, even though the positions look locked in a normal race. The DRS lends itself to pass and repass at this circuit. Ocon picked it up out of turn 7 then here and managed to come back through. Haas fighting for precious points and Ocon clinging on to it. Great drive. DC mentioned it early on. Had a good qualifying, good start to the race. And he's got Behrman backing him up as well for double points at this stage.
That is a live battle. That will continue on all the way to the end. Ocon super aggressive. He's been on the back foot recently as well. Since we left the European leg of the season, let's use that metric again. Since they updated that Haas, it's worked for Ollie Behrman. It hasn't worked from Ocon until today. He's only got 2 point-scoring finishes in a Grand Prix since we left the final European Grand Prix of the year in Monza. That's the view, by the way, from the podium. That trophy is heading to the grasp of Max Verstappen, the race leader by 15 seconds. The man who is going to win, as it stands, the most Grand Prix this year, but crucially, not the largest trophy. Lando Norris was the pre-season favourite, making his way to turn number 5. So many supporting him in the crowd. Carlos Sainz, his old teammate. We told you about this battle before, side by side with Gabriel Bortoleto. Couldn't get by, still in 11th, chasing the final point of the year.
Yeah, Sainz has finished the season well. Williams locked into 5th place in the Constructors, but still want to try and finish in the points.
Albon has just gone past Isaac Hadjar as well on track. They continue to scrap. That's out of the points. It's only for 16th, but it is a safety car risk to those at the front.
So the guy that's had the surprisingly mediocre race here is George Russell, and that was probably one of the big linchpins that Red Bull were thinking. If Russell can be near to Norris, like Leclerc is, then things can happen. You can start to hope that he can be nibbled at if you back him up. But Russell is 47.5 seconds back from Verstappen. It's not been a good race for Mercedes. They'll take 5th place. They'll take 2nd in the Constructors with it as well. So the result will be what they want. But the pace has been really disappointing. And I wonder if he's been nursing an issue since the early stages.
4 laps to go in the World Championship of 2025. Lance Stroll on the brakes, up against Sainz, who's racing Bortoleto. 3 cars now in the mix. And when you rely on the rubber, Stroll's got better traction. He's through, and he's up to 11th. And now it is Stroll versus Bortoleto for the final point, as Lando Norris closes in on Oscar Piastri.
And I mentioned Aston Martin with Alonso's points would go level on points with Racing Bulls. If Stroll can join him in the points, they will pinch 6th place in the Constructors away at the death.
Norris 2.3 seconds away. Piastri did not have the electric pace that Red Bull were slightly fearful of at one point, and McLaren hoped would be there.
Is he struggling with Brady?
For Oscar, it's more the rears.
Traditionally, the front tyres that grain up around here. Hey, remember when I asked you what that was like ages ago? What's it like behind the wheel when you got grain in?
You just simply, if it's the front tyres, which it was for most of the drivers around here, you just simply start understeering. You wash wide and you feel that you're turning the wheel and the car's not responding with the trajectory that you're hoping for. If it's the rears, you start sliding as you're turning into the corners. Graining happens when the tyre's not in the right window, working window, or you're sliding around, getting all these sort of micro slides that ball up the rubber on the surface. And when you asked it earlier on, it was because I think it was Oscar was in dirty air, and then he had clear air, which means you get more downforce, you get more grip, and a chance to clear it up.
Lance Stroll up to 10th. Aston Martin, that will do it for them.
Big for Stroll. Bortoleto, I don't think was going to be able to have a run past, but we've cut away from it to find out. He'll have the DRS into turn 9, but not the tyre life, I think, at the rear.
The McLaren's running line astern, second and third. Lando Norris with an 8.4 advantage over fourth place. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Then it's Russell, then it's Alonso. Lewis Hamilton is still very close to Esteban Ocon, but we are moments away from the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris will just be ticking off the corners now.
He certainly will. Lando Norris will be ticking off the corners. There is Ana de Armas, the actor, the flag waver for the final time in 2025. Ana de Armas, they're about to wave the flag, and starting the penultimate lap is Max Verstappen. The battle that has raged on almost all season between both of the McLarens. 2 to go in the Formula One World Championship. And now we are programmed to look, or every single one of us is programmed to look at the race leader, which is of course Max Verstappen. We are programmed to look at Max Verstappen, but I feel as if today, I don't think that's going to be the way. I feel like we're all programmed now to look at Lando Norris. The guy that will top the championship, unless he clutters a curb a bit too hard or spins or something like that. Unless that happens, I think Lando's won this championship. It was clear from the start. Lap 57 of 58. Next time around, it will be the final lap of the race. Just got to keep the car as straight as possible through the last couple of corners for Lando Norris. The margin is a couple of seconds between Piastri and Norris, but that doesn't matter. There is Max Verstappen. He starts the final lap of the race. He will cross the line, starts the final lap of the race. Lap 58 of 58, Max Verstappen. He will be having very much flashbacks to 2021 when he sent it right up the insides to take the championship. But today, those flashbacks won't come true. There is Lando Norris running through turn 2 now. He just has to keep the car straight. That's all he has to do. There is Max Verstappen. Now making his way up through turn 7. And into turn 8 now the cars go. Getting the power on. 12.9 seconds Verstappen, Piastri. This has been good. Nice. He's been dominant through the whole most of the season. Back end of the season, though, it's been a bit of a struggle for McLaren. It's been all gone Verstappen's way. It's all gone Verstappen's way. But this year, the last 3 of them have gone the way of Verstappen. But this year, I don't think that's going to be the way it's going to be. It's going to go the way of the McLaren driver, of Lando Norris. There's no stopping him. There is Max Verstappen. He will win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And good job. But that doesn't matter. This man, the British driver, he won his home race. He's going to win the Formula One World Championship. Lando Norris is your champion of 2025. What a race.
Lando Norris is the Formula One World Champion. Norris wins the title in 2025. To call yourself the champion, you have to still be standing by the end of the fight. After 24 rounds, it's Lando Norris who takes his first World Championship in 2025. It's the promised land for Lando. Joy unconfined for McLaren. Lando Norris is the 35th champion of the world. He is the 11th world champion from Great Britain. What a club he has joined there. Started by Mike Hawthorne in 1958. And now you are looking at the newest member. Forevermore, it's Norris's name on the trophy.
And now he can drink it in. An hour and a half of sweating, of stressing, of thinking of what may go wrong. But what a season he's had. What a season of turmoil, of pace, of turning around. And finally, he manages to execute the race that he needed to do today to get on the podium. No frills, lost that second place at the start, but carved his way through when it mattered.
That's it, mate. You are world champion. World champion. Well done, mate. I'm so proud. Lando, this is Zach from McLaren. Is this the world champion hotline?
Yeah. Thank you guys. Oh my god. You made a history true. Thanks so much. I love you guys. Thanks for everything. You deserve it. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. Thanks for everything. I'm not crying.
He's crying tears of joy as the world champion by 2 points. What an unbelievable performance from Max Verstappen.
Max, you have given everything. You can be proud of that, mate. Hold your head on high.
We showed that one final time in this class. Congrats, guys. When it looked like second half of the season, we can be really, really proud of that. So we think disappointed. I'm definitely not disappointed. I'm really proud of everyone to never give up.
It seems poetic that the three on the podium at the end are the three that have given us just so many highlights this year. Amazing fights, brilliant turnarounds, an unbelievable push from Red Bull and Max Verstappen, who gave it everything.
Lando Norris is the new world champion and he's lighting it up on the main straight. All of his hard work paying off with the title. Listen to this group. Mike Hawthorne, John Surtees, Jim Clark, Graham Hill, Jackie Stewart, James Hunt, Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill, Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton, and now Lando Norris. He has climbed atop the mountain. He has taken the hits. He has seen his teammates steal his start. He came back fighting. And when he got knocked down, he got back up. He climbs from the car as the new world champion. Third place enough to seal the title. And the grandstand in Abu Dhabi, the first to acclaim the new world champion who continues to cry tears of joy, and he's not the only one. Mum and Dad have seen their boy win it all.
The feelings around, just unbelievable for Norris. This is the culmination of a life's work. 26 years old. His parents have put so much into him going racing as a boy. I saw him coming through the ranks and knew how talented he was, but all of these guys are so talented. You've got to find your way into the right car. You've got to do the job when you're there and enjoy these moments.
Pre-season favourite. champion by 2 points. There are no easily won titles in Formula One. High-fiving the new champion, team and now driver. McLaren win their first title since 2008.
It reminds you the roller coaster it's been this year. When you think back to Melbourne, all the questions, the pressure on Lando's shoulders, the favourites tag that he didn't love, but he grew used to as the season's gone on. Oscar was the man that flew out of the blocks, put all the pressure on, and he's dug deep and turned it around in that final run-in. And he's done enough in the end. With so much pressure on his shoulders this weekend. I've been amazed at how cool he's been. And honestly, in that race, when you're wheel-to-wheel with so many different drivers, so many different things can go wrong, but he remained cool. And in that wheel-to-wheel racing, that's where he made the difference.
Zak Brown was involved in Lando Norris's career before he became the CEO of McLaren. It's lovely to see. Oscar Piastri has been downright sensational this year. For a third season, Lando Norris is 7th, and it gives him the title. Wonderful sporting scenes. The Norris clan, hugs for his engineers. McLaren deliver. George Russell says well done. He passed the tests in that Grand Prix. The old friends embracing. Norris made to sweat for it by Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Max Verstappen winning the Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri, a fine 2nd on the road today. Finishes 3rd in the point standings. Lando Norris hugging another good friend. This might take a while, but when you've won the biggest title in our illustrious sport, it can take as long as you like. A life's work to stand on that podium as the world champion. And McLaren can breathe again. They were chased down and then some by Verstappen. What a performance from the Dutchman to get anywhere near that title. And you could see GP devastated on the pit wall. The season started in Melbourne on March the 16th. It comes to a close on the 7th of December. And Lando Norris has taken the punches. And that's our first look at the world champion with his crash helmet off. David Coulthard is speaking to the top 3.
Lando Norris, you are a world champion. The world champion.
Oh God, I've not cried in a while. I didn't think I would cry, but I did. It's a long journey. It's a long journey. First of all, I want to say a big thanks to my guys, everyone in McLaren, my parents. I'm not crying. Yeah, my mum, my dad. You know, they're the ones who supported me since the beginning. So, I look like a loser.
You look like a winner to me. You're the only 35th man to win a Formula One World Championship. This is the biggest prize in motorsport.
I mean, it feels amazing, you know. Yeah, I now know what Max feels like a little bit, and I want to congratulate Max and Oscar, my 2 biggest competitors the whole season. It's been a pleasure to race against both of them. It's been an honor. I've learned a lot from both of them as well, so I've enjoyed it. It's been a long year, but we did it. We did it, and I'm so proud of everyone.
Look, it's been an incredible season. It was so tight between you all. You were feisty in that race as well. We were curious to know, would you sit back and not take any risks, but you pulled off some good passes, did what you had to do. How much of that World Championship was in your mind when you're running in 3rd, and how much was it just in the moment?
It's a bit of both. I mean, you can't not think of it. But I just knew it's a long race to the very end. You know, anything in we've seen many times. Anything in Formula One can happen, and I just kept pushing until the last 2 or 3 laps. I could ease it off a bit, but I still wanted to fight till the end, and that's what we did. It's what we had to do this season, you know, for Max chasing us the whole way, for Oscar catching up again at the end. They certainly didn't make my life easy this year, but yeah, I'm happy, so.
Oh, understandably so, and you know, this is a beautiful moment of winning your first World Championship. I don't know if you were aware of a moment we were, that you were under investigation with the overtake in Tsunoda where you went beyond the white lines, and of course, nothing came of that, but were you aware of it? Did your team tell? Because we were all on the edge of our seats.
I had no idea. I had no idea. I didn't care. I mean, I knew what I did was fine, so I had nothing to worry about. Yeah, I was just trying to enjoy the moment. You know, there's not many people in the world, not many people in Formula One ever get to experience what I've experienced this season and this year. So I'm happy for everyone. I'm happy for everyone more than me. But yeah, I'm just crazy happy.
It's wonderful to see. We're looking across. We see Zak Brown. We see your parents, your brother, your family. Everyone here has been on this journey with you. So just once again, are you able to compartmentalize? You are the world champion.
I mean, look, it's been a long journey with McLaren. I've been with them for like 9 years. We've been through plenty of crazy difficult times and plenty of good times, you know. So for me to feel like I can bring something back to them, you know, it's their first drivers in many years. So I feel like I did my part for the team this year, and I'm very proud of myself for that. But I'm even more proud for everyone that I've hopefully made cry.
Well, you've made a lot of people cry. Congratulations once again. We'll let you go and join your team. Take the rest of the year off.
The fireworks are going off once again in Abu Dhabi. Last year, McLaren winning the title. They retained it this year. Their first driver's title since 2008. Andreas Stella, before the race, was talking to us about how proud he was of his drivers and how they've gone racing. They crashed into each other a couple of times. Lando Norris held his hands up. He said behind the scenes there have been no arguments. He said he's never seen anything like it in Formula One. The bad blood between teammates just never came to pass.
And how much pressure have McLaren absorbed by allowing their drivers to both have a shot at the title right to the final race? Great job from Piastri. You have to say, a perfect execution from McLaren today. Starting their guys on different tyres. I don't know if it would be excitement or relief or everything for Andreas Stella and Zak Brown right now. Sheer delight. But the pressure that they've risen to, as well as Lando in this Grand Prix, has been intense. And the pit crew, 2-second pit stops across the board.
This was the moment that Lando Norris sealed his dream. Bruce McLaren once said, natural ability comes first, but you must keep improving upon it. And Norris was a runner-up in Formula 2, a champion of European Formula 3, and after 7 seasons of Formula 1, he's won sprint races, Grand Prix, and in 2025, he's won it all. He is the new world champion. Cool-down room time. With 2 brilliant drivers in 2020.
Basically, I have to drive again.
Yeah. Let's see what we get next year.
Yes. Very true. Didn't want to back everyone up.
Yeah, I mean, when I read the top 16 was in the pit window, I was like, that's not too bad. By the way, I'm good. I always do it from Canada. Hey. Oh, you see this one? Good job. Sounds good. Thank you.
Old people are crazy. You did an incredible stuff, really.
Yeah, tried.
Hey, don't sleep, huh?
Not yet. It's gonna be a long night.
It's gonna be a long night. I'm gonna see Mom and Dad now, just to make sure a little bit. Enjoy. Ciao, ragazzi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Give us a lot of time. Give us a lot of time now. Yeah, nobody's. Podium is delayed. Nobody like. People running. I'm in the rush. Are you in a rush? I'm you got to test them? You got to test them? Oh, absolutely not. I'm definitely not doing now. You guys doing it? Oh.
The cool-down room, friendly, sporting, the picture of exhaustion after 24 Grand Prix and 6 sprint races. We have a new world champion. He will be first onto the podium. This special podium. Here is Lando Norris, the 35th champion of the world, the 11th British world champion, and McLaren's first since 2008. He will climb on to the podium and it will say third, but it will represent the top of the mountain for Lando Norris. He takes the adulation of the crowd underneath the podium and in the grandstand. In second position, a warrior of a driver. He has made Australia proud. 7 Grand Prix wins, a 16th podium in Formula One. What a campaign he put together, but that run off the rostrum has cost him. He will come back fighting. The driver of immense ability, and second place today. And the most Grand Prix wins in Formula One 2025 belong to Max Verstappen. He came within 2 points of the most audacious comeback, and he will hear his national anthem. It's his 71st Grand Prix win. The anthems for Max Verstappen and Red Bull. What a world championship the three drivers on the podium have treated us to. Some exceptional driving across the course of the season. His time as champion has come to an end. 4 in a row, he misses out on 5 by 2 points. And Red Bull win the last Grand Prix of this regulation set. We say goodbye to DRS, to ground effect, and we have a whole different set of cars to come your way in 2026. Oscar Piastri, a champion of Formula 3 and Formula 2, for so long led the title battle in Formula 1. He will recharge over the winter and be involved in every conversation when we see McLaren at the front. And here's the moment that the trophy's in the hands of Lando Norris, the happiest he will ever be with 3rd place. His iconic celebration, now on the podium as a champion. The McLaren drivers put on a show. They dominated things in the European leg of the season and at the start when we visited Australia, China, Japan, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. It looked like we might have Oscar Piastri become the 3rd Australian driver, and then the Verstappen Express, it just wouldn't stop. Again and again and again, he put the pressure on McLaren. Lando Norris had a chance 1 week.
Okay, that is it. That is it for the Formula 1 World Championship. That is it for the Formula 1 World Championship of Lando Norris. But that is it for all the sporting, all the racing is done for the year. I think I still have the Hi-Tech All Super Series to stream, the final round of there. But, yeah, that is it. That is it. And let's just say it has been an absolute amazing year for every single category. FRECA, the Formula Regional Racing Championship. We have the Italian F4 Championship, the E4 Championship, the Hi-Tech All Super Series, and even the Formula 1, which was absolutely amazing. And, of course, the F2, when I streamed it at certain points in the year. But that is it for the Formula 1 World Championship. We'll be back in mid-March for the F1 Championship to return. But before then, we still have a few more things to do. That is it for the year, though, for all the sporting action. Hope you guys have all enjoyed. But yeah, Futures Chatting streams within or throughout the year. But that is it for the year. I'll catch you guys in 2026 for more racing action. But until then, it's goodbye.